Hi everyone, welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, Today is our new video, which is the part 3 of the dictionary words that we've been doing. So far, we've done two installments of this section where we kind of go through the words that are really great words, just in general, great words for spelling bees and great words in general because um, these are the words that I sort of found when I was going through the dictionary maybe 4 years ago. So it's a lot of fun to go through, a couple of these words each time. And today we're going to go through around 7 or 8 of them. And they have very interesting definitions, very interesting spellings, and they're just really cool words in general. So I can't wait to get started. Let's jump right in. If you can see the color theme here, it's red and green in honor of Christmas, because I'm sure everyone is excited about that, which is coming up, the holiday season. Okay, so let's start with the first word. The first word is from French and originally comes from Latin. Let's get rid of this. And it's spelled T. Now let me get this pen to work. Tremie. Now this is pronounced tremie. Tremie. It seems like a simple word, and it does actually use the French rules when we look at it a little closer. Like I said, it's French from Latin, and pretty much it's an apparatus for kind of laying down concrete. We can look up exactly what it is with the dictionary. So the word is tremie. Tremie, okay? Like I said, French from Latin. It does come from Latin tri plus modius, right? Containing three modii. Because, tri means three, and that's, it comes from Latin. And like I said, it's an apparatus, or not apparatus for depositing and consolidating concrete underwater, okay, consisting essentially of a tube of wood or sheet metal with a top in the form of a hopper and being usually handled by a crane. So this has a very interesting visual. It's one of those great words because it's accurately describes a machine or an invention, that those make great words. And again, it comes from French. So usually when we have words ending in the long e sound in French, a lot of the time it's going to end in ie. Okay, words such as sortie, let me spell it properly, sortie. That's another French word ending in ie. Another one that comes to mind is bijouterie. Usually ERIE in French means it's a place, so bijouterie is like a jewelry store, also just jewelry. But the main point is that when something ends in the long E sound in French, a lot of the time it's going to be spelled with an IE. The rest of the word is simple, the trem part, but the IE at the end is because it comes from French. So that's a great word, a short word, only 6 letters, but it's a great word. So that's tremie. Okay, our next word, it's a mouthful. Aigialosaur. Aigialosaur. Make that a little clearer. You can probably tell from the end of that word that it is some kind of dinosaur, and it is. So it's Aigialosaur. Okay, so saur at the end always means pretty much it means lizard, and that's how most dinosaurs, they end in saur. This word is unique because it comes from Latin, from a very uncommon root. Aigialos means seashore. So here it says an animal or fossil of the genus Aigalosaurus or family Aigalosauridae. Basically in Latin, aigialo, A-I-G-I-A-L-O, means seashore. So it has something to do with that. It's a scientific word, and don't be fooled, these dinosaur words do pop up. I actually got eliminated in the National Bee in 2011 by a dinosaur word, which was Coelurosaur, right here. It's pretty much the same thing, like a dinosaur of the subdivision Coelurosauria. Seal means whole, and it comes from that. So here, I'm not sure exactly what the correlation is. Maybe this thing walked on the seashore, but it is a kind of dinosaur, and it's a very unique spelling. It comes from New Latin. That's why we're gonna have a G instead of a J, because Latin doesn't use J at all. The I at the beginning is with an AI. Now that might seem a little contradictory, but it seems to fit, and there's no reason why it can't be used. So it's a funky spelling, but it's a great word. Aigialosaur or Aigialosaur. Aigialosaur. That's the proper way to say it. Aigialosaur. It's a great word. Again, the G is important because it points to the fact that the word comes from Latin, because Latin doesn't use a J. Make sure to go back to the Latin videos to review those rules if you need to brush up on those. But again, it's a great word, great definition. It's an animal, so that makes it a good word. Agilosaur. Okay, word number 3 is another good one, French one, E-N-A-R-M-E. Now this is pronounced enarm or enarm. Two ways, enarm or enarm. And when you look it up in the dictionary, the pronunciation here, you get a quote. What that basically means is that refer to the word before this to see how this one will be pronounced. So I just backspace the E. The word before this one is E-N-A-R-M, so we're going to look at that and see how that's pronounced. That's pronounced enarm or enarm, and so that basically means that this word is also pronounced the same way. That's what that means. Again, this is from French, originally coming from Latin, armar, from armis, meaning shoulder. Basically, it's a strap or the set of straps by which a shield was held on the arm. And that makes it a very interesting word because it's an older type of historical kind of word. The French rules are definitely followed. The arm part should be, pretty self-explanatory because it does come from Latin armis, meaning shoulder. And if you can recognize that in the definition, in the definition, the word arm is there itself. It says the shield was held on the arm. So the enarm, you should be able to figure out that there's an ARM. There's an E at the end because lots of French words have an extra added E in there. Lots of them. There are too many to count, and that's just a very French characteristic. And that's what makes this word French. So if you didn't have the E on this, just if you left it as ENARM, that doesn't look French at all. So that's why you're going to add the E at the end. The beginning of the word should be pretty self-explanatory as well, because it's pronounced enarm or enarm, and once you ask for the alternate pronunciation, the only vowel that can be used or that makes sense is an E. So again, this one is another 6-letter French word, but it seems pretty simple, and the definition is great too. But just keep in mind that French makes us realize that there should be an E at the end. The E at the beginning is pretty simple to figure out, but don't forget the E at the end. It happens in a lot of French words. Okay, so that's word number 3. Word number 4, I really like this word because it looks like it should be a common word, but it's not. Honiton. Honiton. Now what does that mean? Honiton comes from a place in England, I believe. Yep. So it's pronounced Honiton or Honiton. What this little schwa, upside down schwa is, that basically means that it's really, really, really tiny and you kind of skip over it. So instead of saying Honiton, we say Honiton. Honiton. Kind of when you say, instead of saying something, you say something. Or instead of give me, you say gimme, kind of like you skip over it. Here's the same thing. Instead of saying Honiton, we say Honiton, Honiton. You basically kind of skip over it really fast. So it's Honiton or Honiton. It is a kind of lace, okay? And the reason why it's spelled the way it is, it's because it's a place. It's a municipal borough in Devonshire, England. So that's where it comes from. And the definition, I think it's so beautiful. It's a bobbin lace with designs of foliage, figures, or flowers joined by brides or appliqued to machine-made net. And that's why you can also have Honiton lace. It sounds really beautiful, a very typical kind of English word. And again, it comes from a geographic place. So that's what gives it an interesting aspect, is that it comes from a geographical place. And so the spelling should be pretty simple. It looks like a very simple English word. Again, English words, it's hard to learn the spelling rules of those because English is made up of so many different, language origins. So this one is the same thing, but if you just ask for the alternate pronunciation, you'll get Han and you'll get Hun, and that should point to you that that middle part is an O. Everything else should be pretty self-explanatory. Honiton, Honiton. And don't forget that O, the second O right here. That's pretty much skipped over, but it's going to be an O. Honiton, Honiton. I really like that one. Okay, 3 more. The next one will go from French to German. The word is Quetsch. Now, if you remember from German rules, you can kind of guess how this will be pronounced. It's pronounced Quetsch. Okay, there's 2 ways to pronounce it. Quetsch or Quetsch. Okay, Quetsch is another way to spell it, or pronounce it. It sounds very German. It comes from German dialect. And it's a good word because of the definition. It's a dry white Alsatian brandy distilled from fermented plum juice. Lots of food words, beverages, those are great, great words. And lots of kind of fine wines and brandy, those kinds of words, they have very, very interesting spellings because they've usually retained their origins. So German words will, like German wines will have a totally German spelling. French wines, like Chardonnay, like they'll all have the French spellings. And Italian food, it'll keep its spelling. So this one is a German brandy. So we have two pronunciations, Quetch, and then we have Kvetch. If you recall, from the German videos, usually when there's a V sound in German, it's spelled with a W. Okay, so usually when you have like, I don't know, if you have the word winter, in German it's going to be pronounced Winter, right? Because the W makes the V sound. Here, we're not going to have a W, okay? Because the first part of this word doesn't really look German. It looks French, actually, Q-U-E, because that's a very, 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 very French beginning. And we can see that actually there is some French in the origin. See, it comes from quecha, meaning plum, from a French dialect word. That's why I think the beginning has retained that French part, the Q-U-E. Because usually German would not use a Q-U-E at all. Okay, it would use a K or, yeah, pretty much just a K. So, the first part is kind of French, but the ending is undeniably German. The TSCH, that's as German as it gets because that's a very, very, very common German ending and in the middle of German words too, TSCH. Here's another definition, the second one. This one's also German. It's a vat equipped with rollers for applying chemical solutions or sizing to yarn or cloth. That is the same spelling, just a very different definition. And trying to see, the origin is very different as well because this one has French and it has to do with plums and brandy, and the second one has to do with different things. But either way, both of these words are great definitions and they stem from German. Just remember the Q-U-E. If you get the first word and you get all the origins, don't forget that the first part has retained its French quality. It's Q-U-E. The second part has its German quality. It's TSCH. If you want to go back to the German videos and just review, the TSCH is very, very, very common. The SCH is very common, and then the TSCH makes the ch sound usually in German. The SCH usually makes the sh sound, as in SH, and then the TSCH usually makes the ch sound. So always, you can go back to the German videos and review those, but this makes a great word because it has that double origin, and also because it's a kind of food. And the second definition was interesting as well, the roller. So again, look for those interesting definitions. Okay, two more. The next one is Ingaevonic. Now this is a very interesting word. It's pronounced, I think, Ingevonic. Again, see here, that means we have to go back to the last word and see what that pronunciation was, and then we'll know what this one is. Yes, it's pronounced Ingevonese. This one is Ingevonese. Ingevonese is from Latin, and it's a kind of peoples, a group of Teutonic peoples inhabiting the northern coast of Europe in ancient times. So kind of like, I don't know, cavemen, some kind of old people. Or group of people. And so this word is basically an adjective form of that. So it's pronounced Ingevonic or Ingevonic. The tricky part of this word is the first half. The second half would be easy. Once you ask for the alternate pronunciation, Vonic, Vonic, you're going to know it's V-O-N. And the fact that it's an adjective means it ends in an I-C, clearly. So the first part is the hard part, the I-N-G-A-E. There's not much to say here. It comes from a Latin word, from old Latin word, and that's just the way it's spelled because it says upper relating to the Ingevonese. Again, that's why I like this word and that's why I picked it, because it's kind of hard to know how to spell it if you've never seen it before. Just one thing to remember, because it comes from Latin, there's not going to be a J, it's going to be a G, because Latin does not have a J. It was the same thing with the Aegialosaur word. Latin uses G, not a J. The in part should be pretty easy, self-explanatory. The hard part is that the schwa is an AE, because that is very rare, but here it's an exception word. It's an older kind of word, so you just have to go with it. Ingevoni, see that schwa is spelled with an AE. Normally that doesn't happen, and that's why I chose the word, because it's a very interesting one. So this is Ingevonic or Ingevonic. This is the trickiest part of the entire word. As long as you know that, you know it's from Latin, you'll get the G, you'll know the double pronunciation, it's on or own, you'll get this part, you'll know it's an adjective, you'll get this part, and the beginning is really easy. So the trickiest part of this word, like I said, is the AE. But now you know that, so you should be good to go. Okay, the next one is my favorite in a weird way because it's really tricky, I think. So there's two words. I'm going to erase some of this. Or you know what, I'll just stick it in the side. There's two words, but they're under one entry. So the word is Baratino or Baratina, Berrertino, and the other part, Beretina, is Berettina. If you can look at this word and guess what origin it is, you might be right. It's Italian. Now you might be thinking that I made a typo here somewhere or a mistake. Why does this one have two R's and this one only has one? No, that's not a mistake. It's actually why this word is really interesting and weird in a odd way. Let's look it up. We have Berrettino. Voila, look, this is very, very tricky because the variant of this word, usually when the ina changes, that makes something masculine into feminine, right? So Baratino could be like the masculine, Baratina, is feminine. Usually Italian words are like that, right? You have, let's see. There's just so many examples of that. Turning into ina. Like one meaning boy and one meaning a girl. So here, that does happen, that changes, but the R's also change, which is so, so weird. Here we have a double R, but here the double R goes away. It's one R. I have no idea why that happens, and that's why I picked this one, because it's really weird that that happens, and it's very important to watch out for. The definition is interesting. It's a cardinal's scarlet skullcap. Don't know why. Yeah, I thought there would be a picture. But anyways, it's an interesting word. It's just weird how the Baratino has a double R and double T. Again, double letters are so, so, so typical in Italian words. Very typical in Italian words. You can always go back, like fettuccine has two T's, two C's, two L's. Double letters are so common in Italian, so this is no surprise. The spelling is no surprise here. It's just here in the variant Baratina, why does that R go away? I don't know why, but the rest of the word still keeps its Italian quality. There's two T's. The ino is always going to be ino. Remember, the long E sound in Italian is going to be spelled with an I. So that's there. The B is normal. Everything else is normal. Baratino, Baratina. Make sure you know that the schwa here, right here, that's an E. Okay, I'll get rid of that, but that's very important. But again, the trickiest part of this word, again, is going to be why this one changes into a single R. It's a mystery, but make sure you know that the masculine one, or the O one, has a double R, but the A one has a single R. So it depends on which one you get. So that you have to keep that one straight. It's very interesting, but it's a very Italian word as well. It does come from Beretta. See, here, Beretta, this has three spellings. One has a double R, one has a single R. Again, it's just an odd word, and this is what it looks like. Well, that's interesting. That's what it looks like. So this is the diminutive of that. Like I said, ino or ina makes something smaller. So a Baratina is I guess, a cardinal scarlet skullcap. It comes from that word Beretta. So maybe one of them retained the double R spelling, and this one retained the single R spelling. I don't know how the origin worked out, but just it's important to keep that one straight. Okay, so these are our 7 or 8 dictionary words for today. We covered some from French, from Latin, 2 from French, 1 partly French, partly German, 1 from an England geographical place, 1 from an old Latin word, and then an Italian word. So this is a good group of words. I think they're all great spelling words. Next time we'll keep on doing the same thing, look at some more interesting words, and words that I've handpicked that I think we'll talk about because it's lots of fun to talk about these words because they're very, very interesting. So, thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. I'll see you next time. Bye.